Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Melissa and I'm always here on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Friday, and I am also uploading every other Sundays. I talk about true crime, I also talk about missing children, and I talk about entertaining topics. So today is one of the most video that I've been wanting to do for so long. So I'm going to be talking about, I love ghosts. Anything that has to do with ghosts, haunted places, I love talking about those. So today is my first ghost story that I'm gonna be uploading on this channel. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe and also hit that bell so you can be notified. I like starting my videos with poems, so here's another one for today. I crave you in the most innocent form. I crave you to say goodnight and give you forehead kisses, and to say I adore you when you feel at your worst. I crave you in ways where I just want to be next to you and nothing more or less. So that it is for the poem for today. But like I said, guys, I am in love with ghosts. I don't know, I just am in love with the afterlife, you know, trying to figure out what happens to your body when you die. Are you able to be reborn again and stuff like that? I am like one of those person that I need answers and stuff. So today we're going to be talking about one of the most haunted prisons in San Francisco, and that is Alcatraz. If y'all new here to my channel, English is not, no, we're just not. Okay, so it's Alcatraz haunted. According to the legend of Alcatraz prison, is known to be one of the most haunted spots in the country, if not in the world. It's really haunted though. For many people that have visited the prison and have experienced supernatural phenomena, it certainly seems to be haunted in a mystery way. Staying at Alcatraz was no joke. Even the spirits of the most insane and atrocious criminals were broken there. It's said that the empty cells inside the walls of Alcatraz is still home to the reckless spirits that remain there. Some of the worst criminals in America, including Arthur Doc Baker, Machine Gun Kelly, and El Capone, spent many days behind bars in this prison. The prison was built to be a maximum security place where inmates would have minimum privilege. Prisoners breaking in the rules would be sent to the stripped cell where they would have to remove all of their clothing and spend time in a cell with no lights, no sink, no mattress, and only a hole inside the ground for a toilet. For this reason, it has been said that many spirits are not able to move on from the Alcatraz to make a new home in the spirit world. The dread cell 14D. Be sure to visit the cell where an inmate died after screaming that creature was going to kill him. Many visitors have said that they have left an extreme coldness wrapping around them in the room, as if many spirits were still present. Experience the A, B, and C cell blocks. Make sure to also view these cell blocks when you are visiting the island. Many people that have toured the prison have said that they can hear moaning, crying coming from these blocks. You may even run into the spirit of the butcher, who was known to be assassinated there in 1940s. You never know what you will run into when you take the plunge and find out more about the existing yet daunting prison island. Is Alcatraz haunted? You'll have to be the judge of that. Make sure that you take one of the tours that allows you to learn more about the island and the prison experience it for yourself, and certain that every least the floating prison will give you the chills, along with some exercise tales to take home with you. Okay, hold on guys, because I never do this, but I need to find another article. I feel like this one is not. Okay, so I found another one. Sorry about that, guys. I just wanted that article wasn't short enough. I'm not gonna restart the whole video. I'm gonna read from this other article that I found that talks about it. Alcatraz, Spanish for the island of Pelinas, is an island near San Francisco Bay, San Francisco, California, United States. It is well known as the site of the most well-known prison in the world. Alcatraz prison was a high-security prison that was built in the island, so it would be near impossible for people to escape. The prison was under fully blown security at all times. Only one person had ever escaped from the prison, and that was Jens. The prisoner's execution punishment was also brutally and bloody. They carried out executions in the prison via electric chairs and hanging. One of the prison's forms of punishment was a very dark cell. The cell was completely pitch black and there was obviously no light in it. Prisoners who misbehaved were put into these cells for as much as 49. The truth horror of this punishment is that it often drove to prisons mad, causing them to contain. Many prisoners used to scream that there was something in the room with them, although the guards simply laughed it off. One person was found dead after this practice. Many people have blamed this on one of the ghosts in Alcatraz. Alcatraz prison was the first to build during the American Civil War. The prisons built at this point was called the Cathedral. It was a war camp. Many torture methods were carried out there. The Cathedral collapsed, but years later, the prison that stands today was built on the top of the remains. The underground structures of the Cathedral are still there and is sabled through the current build. The prison was shut down sometime after the World War II. During this time of the activity, it had held some of the most infamous criminals in United States history. The federal prison on Alcatraz Island and the chilly water of California San Francisco Bay housed some of the Americans' most difficult and dangerous felons during these years of operation. From 1934 to 1963, among those who served the time for the minimum security faculty were the notorious gangster El Capone, 1989 to 1947, and murder robber Bernice of Alcatraz, stored 1990 to 1963. No inmate ever successfully escaped the rock, as the prisons were nicknamed, although more than a dozen known attempts were made over the years. After the prison was shut down due to high operation costs, the island was occupied for almost 2 years, starting in 1969, by a group of Native American activists. Today, historic Alcatraz Island, which was also the site of the USA military prisoner from the late 50s to the 1933, is a popular tourist destination. In 1975, Spanish explorer Juan Manuel de Ayala, 1945 from 1997, mapped and named Brook Alcatraz Island. Christina is la Island de los Alcatrazes, or Island of the Pelicans, due to his large population of sea birds. 75 years later, in 1950, President Miller Flamer, 1900 to 74, signed an order serving the island for military use during the 1850s. A fortress was constructed on the Alcatraz, and some 100 counts were installed around the island to protect San Francisco Bay. Also during this time, Alcatraz became home to the West Coast Fur Observation Lighthouse. By the late 1950s, the USA Army had begun holding military prisoners at Alcatraz, assault from the main lane by the cold, strong waters of San Francisco Bay. The island was deemed an ideal location for a prisoner. It was assumed no Alcatraz inmate could attempt to escape by swimming and survive. During his years as a military prison, the inmates of Alcatraz included Confederate sympathizers and citizens accused of treason during the American Civil War. Alcatraz also housed a number of rebellious American Indians, including 19 Hopis from Arizona, Terry, who were sent to prison in 1995. Following the land disagreement with the federal government, the inmate population of Alcatraz continued to rise during the Spanish-American War in 1998. During the early 20th century, inmate labor fueled the construction of a new cell house. This 600-cell structure still stands today. And Alcatraz, along with the hospital, mess hall, and other prisoners built according to the National Park Service. When the new complex was finished in 1912, it was the world's largest rainforest on creating the building. In 1933, the Army relinquished Alcatraz to the U.S. State Justice Department, which wanted to federal prison that could house a criminal population too difficult or dangerous to be handled by other U.S. state penitentiaries. Following constructions to make the sex complex Alcatraz more secure, the minimum security faculty officially opened on July 1st of 1934. The first warden, James A. Johnson, 1974 to 1954, hired personally one guard for every 3 prisoners. Each prisoner has his own cell. The Federal Bureau of Prisoners viewed Alcatraz as the prison statement prisoners, a place where the most disturbed inmate could be sent to live under sparse conditions with few privileges in order to learn how to follow rules, at which point they could be transferred to another federal prison to complete their sentence. According to the BOP, Alcatraz is typically held some some 260 to 275 prisoners, represent less than 1% of the entire federal inmate population. Over the years, there were 14 unknown attempts to escape from Alcatraz, involving 36 inmates. The Federal Bureau of Prison reports that of these would be escaped, 23 were captured, 6 were shot and killed during their attempt getaways, 2 drowned, and 5 went missing and were presumed drowned. The most famous escape attempt resulted in a battle from May 2 to May 14th of 1946, in which 6 prisoners overpowered cell house officers and were able to gain access to weapons, but not the keys. They needed to leave the prison. In the ensuing battle, the prisoner killed the 2 correctional officers and injured 18 others. The USA Marines were called in, and the battle ended with the death of 3 and the wrong inmates and the trial of 3 others, 2 of whom received death penalty for their actions. The federal penitentiary at Alcatraz was shut down in 1963 because the operation expenses were much higher than those of other federal faculties at the time. The prisoner's island location meant all food and supplies had to be shipped in at great expense. Furthermore, the solid island built were beginning to crumble due to exposure to the salty sea area. During nearly 3 decades of operation, Alcatraz housed a total of men. In 1969, a group of Native Americans led by Mocha activist Richard Oakes arrived in Alcatraz Island and claimed the island on behalf of the Indians of all tribes. These activists hoped to establish a university and a museum on the island. Oakes left Alcatraz following the death there of his stepdaughter in 1970, and the remaining Alcarpers, whose ranks had become intensely contagious and divided, were removed by order of President Richard M. Nixon. In 1971, the island became part of the Golden Gate National Recreation Area in 1972 and was open to the public a year later. Today, some 1 million tourists visit Alcatraz each year. The reputation of the Alcatraz, like the historic ground it was built on, represent a lasting reminder that no man is above the law, and for some, it is an alternate payback for the criminals against humanity. Kind of the paranormal prison. Here are some of these stories. During a sighting visit in 1992, several of the Park Service staff confirmed that haunted history of Alcatraz. Many rangers had experienced unexplained crashing sounds, cell doors mysteriously closing, unintended screams, and an insane feeling of being watched. Sightings called on psychic investigator Peter James to walk through the portions of the abandoned prison to get his impression. Jens began to pick up on the voices of the tortured souls driven mad since the incapacitation as a prison. He also sensed unusual reverberation of abuse, mistreatment, fear, and pain. His overall prison of Alcatraz was that it had an angry like no other he had ever experienced. A president overwhelming insanely ungrateful the island. Some of the more haunted location in Alcatraz appears to be in the warden house, the hospital, the laundry room, cell block C, looted doors where convicts Corey Gratis and Herbrin died during this escape attempt in 1946. The most haunted area in Alcatraz is the D cell block, or solitary, as it was often called. To most who go there, it's a feeling of sudden intensity prevents the cells in corners. Some rangers refuse to go there alone. It is insanely cold, and certain cells far colder than normal, especially cell 14D. This cell is oftentimes so cold that wearing a jacket barely helps, even though the surrounding area is 20 degrees warmer. It is no wonder the area was called the Hole. When Arthur, Richard, Winter, and Nancy Upstern visit Alcatraz, they venture down to the solitary with the park ranger. As Sobrin entered the cell 14D, she immediately felt strong vibration coming from within. Winter and the anger followed Upstern, and within seconds each of them experienced an insane tingling sensation in their hands and arms. They were convinced that something or someone was in there with them. The far corner of the cell where they were standing and feeling insane energy was a set spot where the naked, shaving prisoner would huddle night after night. In the unforgivable darkness, Upstern said that she had never felt so much energy before in one spot. Brandon, Ghost Hunter, Richard Sane, and a psychic spent the night in Alcatraz as part of the Key GO radio promotion. They chose El Capuno cells as place of a temporary refuge. According to Scent, emotion seems to drift from every corner of Alcatraz. As the long night proceeds, he and the psychic visit the spot where rangers said that they heard matching footsteps and clinking metal. However, nothing happened. Finally, Scent locked himself in a cell 12D where an evil and present ghost is rumored to dwell, as the thick steel door was closed. Scent immediately felt icy fingers in his neck and his hair stood on end. He knew he was not alone. Additionally, the psychic picked up on a twisted and dismembered bodies of unformed men. Both left the island convicting that Alcatraz had its own special energy. According to Antonio May, much of the paranormal activity in Alcatraz occurs around areas associated with the penitentiary worst tragedies. One of them in the block's utility curator, cell blocks 8 and B, with the easiest area centering around cell 14D, where it is always cold. According to May, gift psychic Sylvia Brown, accompanied by a CBS News team, investigated parts of Alcatraz. As Brown toured the prison hospital, she picked up cards and notes tacked up on the wall, and she later said a ranger confirmed that the S probably stood for Robert Storr, who spent 10.5 years in the hospital. In the very room that they were standing, he also had hundreds of notes and cards tracked up around him. Brown sensed strong energy in what used to be the therapy room in the prison laundry room, where at least one prisoner was murdered. Court Arthur Michael Keir visited Alcatraz Island on July of 1984 with his uncle. After several preliminary psychic inspiration, Corey reached cell 14D and entered his first felt in tingling sensation, which began at his fingertips, and then very insane feeling of cold engulfing him, and it still trace, and he began community with the spirit of a man of small stature, who had his head shaved and was left in the hole. The spirit, obvious pains, told a horrible tale of being beaten, his leg broken by guards, and left in solitary confinement. He had squeals on fellow inmates, and the years was 1939. Curry then tried to lead the poor soul to the light. Curry's other unique experience was Visitor is Truly Remarkable, as well as an interview with the wife of an ex-warden. But you'll have to wait until the block comes out. A former guard related his story about cell block D, particularly cell 12 and 14. And the fighting remained energy lingered in a stamping promotion of the prisoners. During his stay during the mid-1940s, convicts were often confined in one of the 14 cell D block. The whole because they contained no windows and only light which could be turned off by the guards. The darkness made it seem like the hole in the ground, hence the name. One occasion, and an inmate was locked in the hole within seconds, and the inmates began screaming that someone with gloomy eyes was there with them. Tales of ghostly presence wandering the darkness, creators in clothing from the late 1980s were conditional source of particular joking among the guard, so the conviction pleas of being attacked were ignored. The men screaming continued well into the night until there was silence. The following day the guards inspected the cell. The convict was dead, a horrible expiration egg in his face, and notable hand marks around his throat. The autopsy revealed that the strangulation was not self-inflicted. Some say he was strangled by a guard who had enough at the man screaming. Although no guards ever admitted, even to the other guards, others believe it was the restless evil spirit of a former inmate who has seized his vengeance on yet another helpless soul. To add to the mystery, the day after the tragedy, several guards performing a routine lineup of the convict count one too many people. At the end of the line, the guards witnessed an extra body, that of a wrestling deceased convict. As everyone looked on stunned silence, the figure of a ghostly convict vanished into the air. A number of guards from 1946 through 1963 experienced something out of the original at one time or another. From the outer ring on the grass to deepest canvas, there was continuous talk of people sobbing and moaning. Horrible smells, cold spot in seeing the thing with glowing eyes. Even groups of penitent prisoners and soldiers had appeared in front of the set of guards, guests, and the families who lived in the island. Sometimes the old lighthouse appeared out of the dense fog, accompanied by ghostly stylish sound, and a great flashing light which passed slowly around the entire island, just as if the little lighthouse was still active. The escapable would then vanish before the startled eyes of guards and visitors. Plenary count shots, gunshots, and screams of times seemed seasoned guards falling flat on their stomachs, thinking that prisoners had escaped and attacked weapons. Each time there was no explanation. A desert laundry room would sometimes emit a strong sense of smoke if something was on fire. The station of the choking smoke would drive guards out of the room, only to return a few minutes later, the area now completely smoke-free. The apparent smoke occurred many times over the years. Even Warden Johnson, who didn't believe in ghosts, encountered the unmistakable sound of a woman sobbing as if coming from inside the walls of the Dagon, while he accompanied a number of guests on a tour of the faculty, as if there wasn't enough. An ice-cold gust of wind below through the group, chilling them to the bone, just as the sobbing stopped. The now bird out of the shell of the Warren's house has also been local point for sitting in the 1940s. During a Christmas party, several guards witnessed the chilling apparition of a man wearing a gray suit, brimming cap, and bottom chopped sideburns. When the man saw the apparition in the room, turned deadly cold. The fire in the Ben Franklin stove was a stagnation, and after less than a minute, the man vanished. These are about a few of the haunted Alcatraz stories. So that is the crazy but true sad story of Alcatraz. When it comes to prisons like that, I think those I understand that they were like the worst of the worst, but that basically to me is like the even prisoners we'll see. We'll see goes. I mean, still today there's what I think it was 3, or maybe around 3 that escaped, and we don't even know if they made it alive. That's just like a whole debate, because we don't know. People want to know, did they really made it? I mean, who knows if those 3 made it. But that's one of my in my bucket list to visit the prison, one of those prisons. Would I do it? I don't know. But that's one of my bucket lists that I want to have, haunted places that I want to visit, and that's on my list. If you visit that prison, let me know in the comments below and tell me your story. I would love to read your story. But yeah, guys, I will see y'all Friday with the new story, and also I will be uploading on on Sunday, and I will be uploading to, I don't know if it's this Sunday that I'll be uploading. I don't know if it's this Sunday or next Sunday. I think it's this Sunday. I don't know, but we'll see. But I will be doing also with Mother Day's coming up. I will be doing another Mother Day video of a crime that happened during Mother Day. So I will see y'all.